Hey there. All right, we've got a great opportunity to test and evaluate a Bering Optics D790. This is a Generation 3 Plus night vision image intensifier tube technology. Technology has been around a long time. There's not many companies still producing these, and a lot of that's due to encroachment by other technologies and the price drop of thermal for the civilian market. So operators and law enforcement and professional shooters, they're well aware of what a 6x Gen 3 Plus optic is capable of. And so the commercial market, the civilian market, we tend to gravitate more towards the price point of a digital optic or thermal optics for their rapid engagement and detection capabilities. So a little bit of a different animal, but I wanted to call out that this D790 is still here. It's available today. You can get Bering Optics or one of the dealers to get one of these for you. And if your application and your intentions for using it align with what the scope does best, then you're going to be astounded by the quality of this package. All right, so the D790, what does it provide the civilian market or the commercial market, your typical shooter? Well, it's a 6x base magnification and it's fixed. So you will be locked in at the 6x magnification. So if your field of view needs are wide and large, this is not the optic to use that in. I have oftentimes read on the internet that folks are wanting to positively PID objects 400 or 500 yards, and typically they're trying to do that with thermal technology, which is a negative for thermal technology, trying to get that PID at those ranges. So that's what this can do for you. Is this scope going to cover the majority of applications that commercial and civilian market users would have? Probably not. It's a specialized unit. If you can afford it, you want one of these in your tool bag if you are trying to get positive identification on target acquisition of specific game or other objects, and you need to make the right shot at distance. Another aspect of this versus thermal technology is the battery life. This runs off of 2 AA batteries. There are very few thermals that use AA's. You know, AA is probably the most prevalent battery type out there. So you can go to any Walgreens and CVS and pick up a 40 pack of AA's for 20 bucks or whatever. These AA's are going to power this unit for 120 hours. Most thermals use specialized CR123 or 18650 or some other specialized battery, and they average 2-4 hours or 4 to 6 hours, right? Now, thermals, you can get away with an external battery pack, but again, you have to be able to charge that somewhere, and the external battery pack isn't going to last you 120 hours. So for 2 AA's and 120 hours of potential use, that's a big positive to using one of these in specialized applications where you may be somewhere for quite some time without shore power or the ability to plug in. It has internal focus, so let me put this back together here. It does have an internal focus mechanism here, and it gets razor sharp focus so that you can do that positive identification at distance. It's got a high definition or an HD quality 165 millimeter front lens. This is a mass, this is a unit up here. And so on the flyby video, and you may be able to see it from where you're at right now, this mount is actually fortified with a section dedicated to holding that lens still and rigid. Rated to 375 H&H or 50 caliber rifle systems. That's another misnomer that a lot of folks online that I read, is that these Generation 3 scopes can't handle recoil above 308. You got to know what you're buying. You got to check with your dealer, and you got to look at the spec sheets. This clearly says from Bering Optics you can use it on 50 cal or 375 H&H. It's an unfilmed Gen 3 tube inside, so you're safe and you're covered under warranty or anything of that nature. It's got manual gain control, so you know, you can raise the gain, the image brightness of the tube manually, and that's really helpful in cloud covered nights. Right now we've got a lot of cloud cover. We're in those type of months where we get thick cloud cover, and so we're not going to have any assistance tonight from the moon or the stars. So we're going to probably be using the higher level of that manual gain adjustment to try to get the best image that we can. Along those lines, this rifle system does have an IR illuminated fit to it. So this runs off two CR123As. It has 3 different intensity settings, as well as a focus control for the beam. So using an IR light with the Generation 3 night scope is a must, especially in cloud cover situations. So there's a little bit more complexity to the use of them than just putting a thermal, you know, pushing a button and having thermal technology. There's more of a use, learning curve and complexity in the field using these items and those technologies. Where this does shine over thermal is the startup time. The minute I flip the switch here, it's 1 second startup time, you're ready to go, clear to engage. It also has reticle color, red and green, so you can switch between those 2 modes. And it has a reticle intensity knob back here, so you can do the brightness of that reticle as well. You zero this just as you would a traditional optic, so it has capped turrets, and you would move those up and down, right or left. It's got a very fine 1 click equals 10 millimeters of adjustment, so you're able to get not only a razor sharp image but a very accurate zero, because frankly what this scope is designed for is probably your Magnum class rifles, or your PRCs or what have you, something that can be flat shooting and get out to 500-600 yards. You know, this would be perfectly at home on it. What I have it on is simply for this testing and evaluation that I'm doing. I'm hunting with it tonight, so I don't need a 26-inch barrel and a Magnum class rifle. I'm not really using it for the application it's best designed or suited for, but yet I want to get behind it and see what I can do here from a static blind situation, and just enjoy the image that it provides. It provides a really fantastic image. It's white phosphorus, black and white, and you know, you can see the color patterns of feral hogs. You can see the horns of bucks. You can see the rings on raccoon tails. I mean, it gives you that presence and that situational awareness, and that's really what's neat about using these technologies. I think we've covered all the features, and encourage you to get with your dealer and check this technology out. Again, 2023, this stuff's been around a long time, but a lot of folks just forget about it due to all the other products that are available in the current sense. But again, if you can afford it, you definitely want to get one of these and put them in your tool bag. So one thing I failed to mention regarding image intensification technology, or specifically the D790, it doesn't record video. You can't, it doesn't have digital circuitry in there that you can connect a recorder to and record off the core like thermal. So for a evidence retention, or if you're recording your hunts and showing them to your landowners and showing them, you know, you're being respectful to the land and taking care of business in the right way, you can't do that with this technology. The back eyepiece of these D790s and the D750 and 760 units they're large and they don't adapt real well to the Tacticams and things of that nature. So there's a lot of companies out there that sell items that you try to adapt to a technology like this. I haven't found one that I really like that works real well, that you're able to still see through and shoot the rifle accurately. So this too long. It is still daylight, and these are very sensitive to daylight or less than daylight situations. That's why it has this large scope cover with a pinhole and a filter up front. You can run these for a very short period to just get your zero, verify your zero, and then be done with it. So you want to be real careful using this technology around light sources. All right, so my batteries are in, cartridge is loaded. I'm going to go with powering on. Okay, I have an image to the scope. There's a silhouette downrange with a spray painted circle on its chest. I'll go for that one. Turning the reticle all the way up on intensity. And the gain adjustment doesn't do a whole lot during the daytime due to the filter and the pinhole situation. The focus is also affected by the cover and the pinhole. You don't get real good focus refinement. Okay, we're going to fire. One shot. We should hear the steel ring based on our last zeroing of this. Okay, I see that I hit high and left. I'm going to go ahead and make an adjustment because I don't want to have to hold that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this where the reticle is right where I was aiming. And I'm going to adjust the reticle to where it impacted. Okay, made that adjustment. One more shot. All right, I fixed my elevation, but my windage is still a little bit off. Okay, we're down range. Our first shot was high and left, and then I made a windage and elevation adjustment. Second shot was to the right, so I just made a final windage adjustment.